I'm Zachary Fowler, and you're watching our Extra channel, and today we're reviewing the Prey movie, the most recent Predator movie. My brother said I should watch this. This is amazing, the Native Americans and their tools in fighting the Predator, and I've always loved all the Predator movies and the Alien movies, total nerd, and I thought, okay, that's cool, let's watch it and review it. I'm reviewing it from the aspect of survival expert after winning History Channel's Alone Show and surviving 87 days, and before that, my expertise of reading lots of books and homesteading in the woods for 15 years. And after watching The Revenant and seeing how awesome Hollywood did with that, I was kind of excited to see a Hollywood, future of the Predator meets the Native Americans. Let's review it and see how Hollywood did. Off to a good start. I love that little... That always gives me the willies. I'm a huge movie nerd. I love movies. So I love the teepees and stuff. My expertise being primitive traps, fire starting, shelter building, things like that. I won't be able to speak to anything about the Native American stuff, but I heard that there was a advisor for the show. So they had an advisor, Jane Myers, and on here it says, Google says it's a positive indigenous representation. So we're not talking about that aspect. So let's just see how true they kept to all that with their expert that kept them on track. Huh. Alright, so already I thought it looked like she's digging up some tubers. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But she's digging them up with her tomahawk, and now she's cutting out on the work because she's an adventurous girl who, it's not enough to sit around and dig tubers, and she's throwing the flint tomahawk at a tree, and it's sticking in across the grain. She's literally the whole time she's throwing at the tree, the only thing she's doing is throwing it in across the grain. Not even possible, I don't believe. Which, one, I don't think you could ever throw a tomahawk made out of flint and get it to stick into a tree, maybe a rotten tree, and it definitely diagonally across a living tree across the grain isn't going to stick in. I've got a tomahawk here because I knew this was going to be part of something was going to be a little hinky and Hollywood was going to take some liberties there. So, tomahawk is the target that I use, end grain. This has end grain, so you could theoretically stick in sideways, all that stuff. That's a little frilly. So let's go find a tree and we'll see if it can stick in at a diagonal or across the grain. All right, so she was throwing hers at, looked like spruce or a pine. We got ourselves a little pine here. Grain runs this way. That way it's going to be harder. Feel bad chopping away at it. If you chop with the grain, that's going to do very little damage to a tree. But chopping this way, it's like you can already see that just bounces off. Let's try it though. You see how easily that stuck when I threw it vertically. Throwing it sideways brings a whole nother aspect into it. It's so much harder to get it in the right plane. When you're throwing it like that, it takes a lot more practice, whereas this is all about pacing off the right distance, and you're gonna throw it and it's gonna stick almost every single time. This is gonna be harder than I thought. Boom, again on the tip. Wasn't the tree I was aiming for, but it was just full on blade first and just bounced and ricocheted off. Let's try again. So up close, you can see 1, 2, 3. That one did stick, like you saw, and this one here by the tip, it wasn't the most direct shot, but here's a dead one. Up close, full on swing, side on, just bounces off. And this is a rotten tree. The softer, the easier it's gonna go in. Barely even have to try. Myth busted. She can't hit sideways into a tree with a flint one, which is gonna be lighter and less likely to stick than this well-honed steel forged tomahawk. Let's see what else. She's chasing down an elk with her tomahawk. That just seems irresponsible. I don't know what she thinks she was going to do, and when she misses, it just magically sticks into the tree right behind. It's kind of ridiculous. But, I mean, you need some action at the beginning of the movie before you have your antithesis between you and the predator, so gotta do something. This is starting to get frustrating. The dog's got its tail stuck in a leg trap. Like, there's no way the dog could probably even set off that trap with its tail, much less, like, it doesn't even make any sense. It's a leg trap. You step in it, it sets the trap off. I know they gotta keep up with, like, speed, the movie rolling, but already again, you know, now I feel like I'm just being picky, but she takes some herbs out of her pocket and rolls them up in her hand and rubs the tail with it. It's gonna do nothing. Once again, kind of a weird thing, like shooting an eagle out of the air. Like, I don't know that they would waste their time shooting eagles out of the air. It seems just like to hype up the video once again. And they wouldn't use a broadhead like that. You would use a blunt tip so you can knock it down, because they might even use the blunt tip to knock it down and then capture and train the eagle if it wasn't damaged. And they use the feathers in their ceremonies and things like that. On a scale of 1 to 10, and for Hollywood just exaggerating, I'd say that's somewhere around a 6. So one more thing, just kind of a nitpick. The teepees are all facing inwards towards each other, and when they set up a teepee, there's actually, I believe, a north pole that they start with, and you set that, and the doors always face east because of the prevailing winds. So having their smoke flaps and doors all facing each other doesn't make any sense, and it looks prettier for the video, I guess. Already, this is so cringy with just the littlest things, and maybe people won't pick up on this, but she's sharpening the flint tomahawk with another stone. To sharpen it, you chip it and break it, and those chipped edges take a long time to get really good proficient at making them. So the arrowheads, the knives, the tomahawks, all of that was done by chipping it. You cannot rub it on another stone to sharpen it. That would actually dull it, if anything.
First blood.
The only thing I can think here is their expert was taking a nap, or that kind of stuff didn't matter to them so much. They were more about the dress, the language, the hair, and the culture that they were going for. So they just decided to pretend they're sharpening it with another stone, which is ridiculous and super cringy for me. It's supposedly sharpening it. That's ridiculous. Oh, here comes our predator. So for those of you that haven't watched a predator movie before, the predators are dropped off on Earth. This is their coming of age. Just like this girl's situation here with her family, she wants to go out on her rite of passage, which makes her become an official hunter of the village, things like that, like the boys get to. The predators are dropped off, and from the first movie it was dropped off and it had to face Arnold Schwarzenegger. And a bunch of other army guys, and in the end it lost to Arnold, right? So the stage is set, and now this high-tech alien from another galaxy is there, and he's gonna have to face off against her, I'm guessing. I can't say much about the plants because I'm not a huge plant expert. I always know the plants in the area as much as possible that I go into. I don't recognize any of these, but they kind of look a little bit like something they went and picked up at the florist and jabbed into the ground. So one of their fellow Native Americans to hurt, they built a kind of a bushcraft gurney to carry him back. That's not the right name. But anyways, they bushcraft it, carry him back, and they're using all these herbs. They were very carryable. So I think that's like pretty cool. And then she walks up on the predator here had stripped a snake of its skin, and the snake still twitches. And that's actually very true. Still be twitching if she came across it, maybe even up to 6 or 8 hours later. So they keep twitching, even without their heads and without their skins and their guts. It's pretty creepy. So now she's found the predator's footprint. She's taking a marker for the length to see about, compare it to other things, I guess. That's part of tracking, is you would take measurements and things. But for her, for somebody like a Native American that's lived their whole life in the outdoors, they're going to come across grizzly bear tracks, animal tracks. She's going to instantly know that that is not a thing. The fact that she isn't running home instantly and dragging everybody over to show them that print seems a bit ridiculous. And the fact that they would think that she's foolish and doesn't know what she's talking about when she says that there's something else out there and these prints are not local wildlife. I mean, that's extremely far-fetched, and on the scale of 1 to 10 of ridiculous, that's definitely a 12. All right, once again, things are getting a bit ridiculous here. She's trying to get a rabbit, and she's sick of walking over to pick up her tomahawk. So she ties a rope to it and she's able to pull it back and catch it into her hand. Not even possible. That would just throw off the whole trajectory of the tomahawk. We're trying it right here. All right, tying on some line to try the throw and pull back. All right, going with a clove hitch, lock that off. Just your typical cheap line. That throws off just throwing it. I'm actually scared for this.
Okay, thank you for saying that, because...
For this, actually. Oh, I got it! Second try. Here we go. Now, assuming it works, and I want my hatchet back. John's backing away. You don't have to back away. My knot comes off. All right. Got it again. That actually worked better than I thought it would. That was a horrible hit. All right, she's sunk in good. Get it tight. There might be something to this. Ooh. Here we go. This is the one. Oh. There we go. All right. Next try. I caught it before it hit the ground. Does that count? I didn't catch it by the handle. Oh, that was scary. That was pretty good. I mean, I feel like if I had jumped, I would have had the handle. I caught the line and swung around. I gotta say it's possibly feasible, but it's ridiculous and extremely dangerous. I don't know why. Outside of it looking cool for Hollywood, I'd say you'd be pretty stupid to practice this as anything but like a trick show for a carnival where you're practicing it all the time. It's ridiculous. Quicksand, that's always a fun one in a movie. I remember Princess Bride, that was my favorite scene with the quicksand and the ROTCs and stuff. Fortunately, she tied her tomahawk to a line, and I could see in this aspect that actually played out really well for her, and she was able to get herself out, so that was cool at least. So the bear thing, totally real. I would say, if anything, that makes sense that it was vicious like that. She should not have been upwind from it so that it catches her scent, because it's on a kill. It's going to protect a kill, and that's one of the few times where you really got to be careful. That and when they have cubs. Those 2 times, they can be extremely vicious and will be coming after you. The rest of the time, they're out there doing their thing, and unless you're cornering them, most likely they're going to be more aware of you before you are even aware of them, and they're just going to go off and do their own thing. So the beaver lodge, hiding inside the beaver lodge, totally true. I think the aspect of seeing through the sticks and seeing the bear, ridiculous. Those things are airtight. They, maybe not airtight, but they build them so well. The beaver lodge is like woven together sticks. They are master builders. To see one in the middle of a river like that, that doesn't include a dam at the across, that's like there's no way a beaver would waste his time right there, because one, it would get washed away. So, but hiding in one, totally legit. I remember hearing an old story back in the day about the redcoats during the Revolutionary War after a guy, and he crawled up inside one. They have big enough openings you could fit into one. You just wouldn't want to be in there at the same time Mr. Beaver was in there. They're not going to be that friendly. She sneaks up on the predator because she's able to use herbs to lower her body temperature. I don't think that's a thing. If it was that low, make it harder for... She wouldn't even be able to function and get around. She'd be too close, I think, to death to be able to do what she's doing and still keep on fighting. Well, that's the movie. I don't want to spoil it for you, but just like any good Hollywood movie, at least the Hollywood movies that I like, the good guy wins in the end, of course. This was a little cringy for me to watch, and maybe I'm overly picky because I know what's going wrong here, and it just seems ridiculous to me, wherein I think she could have taken the predator out. She had to use his weapons to take him out in the end. She looked like she was doing pretty good with her own tomahawk. And one good placed arrow would have taken him out way earlier in the thing if she just knew where his heart is. Who knows where a predator's heart is, though? So, there you have it. That's our review of the Prey movie, and because of the good guy winning and the good guy actually being a good guy the whole time, I like that aspect of a movie. So I'd have to give it 2 thumbs up on that aspect, and the cinematography was phenomenal. The Native American aspect of their teepees and their village and their shelters and the just the wild and living out there, so fun and so beautiful. So you can't go wrong there. As far as getting it right when it came to anything that had to do with any tactical survival, realism of the flint, the tomahawk, the ability for it to do the things that they made it do, it was just above and beyond. It was just a complete 10 of ridiculous in the movie. But that's Hollywood for you. So if you wanted to watch something truthful, you'd go over and watch Fowler's Makery and Mischief, where we do real survival things and do real adventures and show you everything we're doing, even when I screw it up. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you'd like me to review, and we'll see you either on the other channel or in the next Fowler Extra. Fowler out.
Yeah, I'm recording.
We'll go as this is the first throw kind of thing. Oh, they just go straight GoPro first. I don't know. Throws the balance off that much. GoPros, take a licking and, well, maybe it didn't. I don't know. It's not coming back on. Oh, the back screen's toast. That first throw, man. It can record on whatever mode that is, and only that mode from now on. She's not looking so good. All that just for a shot. That's why we use the sacrificial 9. That was a bad idea. Whose idea was that?
It was not
That's
mine.
Grant's idea.
Definitely.
There you go, Grant.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, here you go. Here's a memento.
Do you think they'll give us warranty on this?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could send it in. You're like,
I'll look into
it's
that.
an action cam.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get it repaired. Or warranty.
It saw some action, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sure did, yeah. All right.
You didn't break the back glass. Like, this is all completely intact.
Oh yeah, the glass didn't break.
Yeah.
It might even be able to get clipped back in.
Exactly.